Yeah, this PPT is scrolling now. Please confirm one of the cost.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Scrolling.
thank you. Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good
Good
evening.
Good
evening,
evening,
sir.
sir.
Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening, sir.
Good
Good
evening,
evening,
sir.
sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, we'll discuss some important topics GFR, MSOP, and losses, audit, hmm, and CGA, also Controller and Auditor General, and C. hmm. Yeah, please confirm Sridhar or Karnakar.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay, sir.
yeah, thank you. This is a very, very important topic, MSOP. See, this was first issued in the October 2017, but for examination point of view, this is the very, very important, the revised MSOP issued in the July 2018. July 2018. So first of all, if you check in the central government, government of India, these powers are called delegation of powers. Delegation of powers. Here we called it is the schedule of powers. Both are same. In railway terminology, it is called schedule of powers. In Government of India terminology, it is the delegation of powers. So previously, all of you know, before 2017 and October, we have only SOP is there. Schedule of powers is there, not MSOP. So why it is required this model SOP? Hmm? What is the objective for issue of the model SOP in lieu of SOP? What is SOP? What is delegation? Everything we'll discuss. Okay, very important topic. It is in the examination point. Yeah. So first of all, what is delegation? Delegation, it is the entrusting of authority or power or responsibility to another. This is a normally from boss to the subordinate manager. If you check GM, so normally he delegate the powers to all PHODs. He cannot do on its own. Okay. Or in case if you check, there is a head of the family distributing the wedding work among the family members. See, it is not possible to conduct the entire function of the marriage function by a head of the family. So he will entrust the responsibility to the elder sons or brothers and sisters or other friends. Hmm? Because it is a pandal is there, it is a catering, so many activities is there. It's not possible with one person. So what should we do? He delegated powers to the others. Delegated powers to the others. Okay. So this delegation of power is nothing but it is a interesting responsibility to the not only responsibility at the time power also power and authority. Okay, this is the one of the core concepts of the management leadership. Okay, it is a not only power, shifting power as well as responsibility also to the team members. Empowering the frontline officials. What is frontline officials? Those who are in the railways, visible to all, with adequate administrative and financial powers. This is SOP. Okay. So why SOP becomes model SOP? Now we'll check. See, the need of model SOP. M for here model, not modern or modified. Please remember, M for model SOP. That means it is a benchmark. It is a benchmark. That means the GM, if wish, he can issue correction slip, he can modify. So it is only model. By default, it is applicable to all railways. Suppose if GM wants, he can modify to that extent by issuing correction slip. That is different work. So what is the object of the MSOP in place of SOP? This is a benchmark, setting up of a benchmark, and especially this is the main important reason, uniformity across all zonal railways in implementation of decisions, especially officers from JA grade or selection grade, SA grade, they are transferred from one zonal railway to another zonal railway. So it is a difficult if every zonal railway has its own SOP. For understanding and application of the rules, it is very, very difficult. So that is the reason the transformation cell has initiated this model SOP. And one more reason, it is the simplification of the procedures or work. Simplification and familiarity with the orders, rules and procedures for the officers on transfer from one railway to another. So this is the model SOP. Yeah. So it is the initiative of the innovations and transformation cell. Now it is the right time to discuss about what is this transformation cell. Initially it is called transformation cell. Later it was renamed as the innovations and transformation cell. It is constituted by the Railway Board in the March 2017. The PED means it is the PHOD rank. See, that is the reason this PED is the previous designation is the advisor. If you check member, additional member, then advisor is there previously. This advisor is renamed as the principal executive director. Morning I shared this hierarchy of the all IRMS officers. Please go through. So this PED is nothing but HIG rank. PED old designation is the advisor. Because of this principal executive director, if you check all PHODs designations, it is renamed as the with the prefix principal. CSTE, all of you know, principal CSTE. CMD, principal CMD. FNCO, now it is the principal financial advisor. COS, controller of stores, this is the principal chief material manager, PCMM. And CCM, now PCCM. COM, now PCOM. Like that. CSTE, now principal CSTE. Okay. What is the reason? Because the advisor name, it is redesignated as the principal executive director. So this transformation cell also, it is headed by the HIG officer or the principal executive director. Under him, in nodal 8 executive directors are there. Executive directors are nothing but SIG rank, drawn from the different disciplines: traffic, engineering, mechanical, electrical, S&T, personnel and accounts. It hires young professionals, MBAs or BTechs or chartered accountants from the private sector to assist. It overrides all other existing directors. Once upon a time, it is a very, very powerful. It will take decisions even without the member knowledge also, member operations and business development, member finance, directly it will take the approval of the CRB and issue the orders. But now recently the railway board issued the concerned member also should be consulted. If you check some of the letters we received even without this concerned directorate knowledge also. Okay. So I think all of you well aware in the previous times, for example, almost 5 to 6 years back, hardly we are receiving a single letter in a period of 1 month. 1 month at least we will receive any policy letter, one letter or two letter, hardly. Now if you check, if you open WhatsApp group, every day or every alternate day we are receiving some policy changes, letters, GCC changes, anything. Okay. So what are the achievements of this transformation cell? Model SOP. Here the model SOP, the primarily give more powers to directly DRMs and other branch officers, and uniformity of the provisions as far as possible. This is the works contracts, earnings contracts and service contracts. As far as possible it is a uniformity. And new GCC for works 2022 GCC for works was initiated, and re-engagement of the retired staff and officers, and GCC for services. All these are achievements of the transformation cell. Okay. Yeah. Here for preparing this MSOP, they are taking this is the template. This is the SOP of the South Central Railway. They are taking as the template. If you check any agreement, agreement will be signed for and on behalf of the President of India. That means in the central government powers, all powers lies. Who is the supreme authority is the President of India. So President of India is issued, is delegated powers to the all ministries, including the railway ministry. Railway ministry is nothing but railway board, please remember. So the railway minister again issued the powers to the GMs, and GM to the issue to the all subordinate officers. Here this is the final end. The subordinate officer cannot redelegate his powers to any other officer. Suppose PHOD power is 10 lakhs, he cannot delegate up to 10 lakhs to any other officer. Like any other officer is also delegated by the GM. HOD, PHOD, DRM, branch officers are. Okay. So we'll check now. This is very, very important. Negative powers to the GMs. Very important. Why it is the negative powers instead of positive powers? There is no logic, but we can understand. It is very easy not to do a particular thing instead of saying do all these things. Okay, it is very easy. That means if you don't do this particular item, means you can do anything other than this. If you don't do this particular item, means you can do any other item. I'll tell you the examples also. Here, this is the very, very important. The GM powers, it is the enclosed in the chapter 5 of the Finance Code Volume 1. Finance Code Volume 1, chapter 5 and Annexure 2. Annexure 2, all GM powers, it is incorporated. Here, if you check the top of the all rules, the first one itself, without the previous sanction of the higher authority. So what GM rules, it is prescribed without previous sanction of the higher authority. That is nothing but if you want to exercise any powers under this chapter 5 volume 1, chapter 5 of Finance Code volume 1, you should take the sanction of the higher authority. That is nothing but railway board. That means all these powers, you have no powers. You cannot exercise the powers. That is negative character. Then how to exercise these powers if everything is negative? Now please check. For example, this is serial number 10C. to the grant of reward or cash award in excess of 5,000, in each individual case, each person. So this is the negative power, one of the negative powers in the Finance Code Chapter 5. So what is in this interpretation? That means GM have powers to grant reward of up to 5,000 in each individual case. That means he may sanction 1,000 rupees, 2,000, 1,500, 2,500, 3,500, 4,500, 5,000, but not 5,000 above. So this is the one example for the understanding this GM's power. So whenever the question appeared, the GM's powers means it is the negative power. Please remember, negative power. Okay. And please, it's not possible to by heart all the provisions, all the contents in the MSOP. This is a reference book. This is a reference book. And moreover, I told na, individual railways wise, they can amend any number of times. They may issue correction slips. Not compulsory to follow this model SOP. By default, it is a benchmark. But if the GM of particular railway thinks this is not sufficient powers to PHOD or HOD, he may change by issuing correction slip. What is the procedure? I'll tell you. Yeah, participants, tomorrow morning this MCQ practice test, it is based on this yesterday promotion policy. Nurses are taken topic the promotion policy and this MSOP audit, GFR, all it I am conducting tomorrow morning 6 o'clock practice test. Okay, and tomorrow 10 o'clock. Please join. I will take up this classification of the expenditure. Once again, the demands for grants, primary units and planets. Very important topic. Tomorrow, Sunday, that is open session 10 o'clock. Okay. Yeah. So here, the salient features of the MSOP 2018 month is July. Okay. Yeah. It is a roughly 420 pages. This is additional delegation as per local requirement. Yes, as per local requirement, we can correct it. And more powers to the DRMs directly, the railway board itself is granted more powers to the DRMs. Previously, it is up to GM, the railway board is allocated, then railway GMs allocated to DRMs and ADRMs and PHODs. Instead of that, directly railway board is issued powers to the DRMs and other branch officers like station directors. This is very, very important, this point. If no PHOD is posted, that means there is a vacancy of the PHOD, then the coordinating HOD, normally the senior most HOD will be appointed as will be nominated as the coordinating HOD. So the CHOD can exercise the powers of PHOD. Okay. Yeah, CHOD means nothing but senior most HOD, that is normally powers, that is order given by the railway board or GM. Okay. And this is also very, very important. GM sanction, GM approval means normally AGM can exercise. But if it is a specified personal sanction and personal approval, then only GM has to exercise. So if there is no personal word, then normally the sanction of GM means AGM can exercise behalf of the GM. Very important. But is a personal means definitely GM only exercise. And here first time it was included miscellaneous matters, that is the centralized training institutes, information technology and public relations. And they added previously only 6 parts. Now it is the 7th part is added, that is the part G, last one. Here it is mentioned like alphabets, not serial number, not Roman numbers. Part A, part B, part C, like that. Okay. Yeah. Previously this RPF matters, it is in the part C miscellaneous. Now they came out, they taken out from the part C and they started this part G, first one. Okay. And normally powers delegated to DRMs, it is the same for the CWM in the SA grade. In some railways, in some workshops, J grade CWMs are also there. But only the senior administrative grade officer, the CWM, can have powers equal to DRMs. Okay, yeah. The Principal Chief Security Commissioner, if you check, he is not a HIG rank. Though he is a PHOD of the Security Department, normally it is the selection grade or SA grade. This Principal Chief Security Commissioner. But as far as powers for the RPF department, he can exercise the powers of PHOD. Though he is not a HIG officer, as far as only RPF matters, not for any other. Okay. Yeah. Similarly, ADRMs in the non-functional senior administrative grade will exercise the same powers of the ADRM SAG. Okay. Yeah. All the branch officers in the senior scale independent charge, if you check some small divisions, say for example, there was no senior DE post. So the DE, senior scale electrical officer with the independent charge, he can exercise the powers of the J grade or selection grade as divisional officers. Okay. Yeah. Who is the branch officer? What is the meaning of branch officer? Branch officer means a officer who directly reported to the DR. Directly. No one is there in media. So he is treated as the independent in charge for all purposes. That is called branch officer. Okay. Yeah. This is the CWMs in the senior scale J grade selection grade, or the CWE or concerned SAG officer in headquarters will exercise the same powers to the CAWM in the SAG for workshop or depots. Here the station directors and administrators of the central hospitals, both though they are in the J grade or selection grade, they can exercise the powers of branch officers. Okay. This is the most important and frequently asking question. What is this? Please check. Say for example, one item. Here concurrence is required. In the remark column, concurrence is required. In the second item, concurrence not required. And third item, it is not mentioned anything. It is a blank. They are not talking about the concurrence required or not required. Then what to do? In absence of anything, we have to presume the concurrence is required. Please check. If it is specifically mentioned, no issue. If it is specifically mentioned concurrence is required or concurrence is not required, no issue. It is a clear cut. But if nothing is there, that means they are not mentioned anything. That means in absence of anything, please check. Whenever finance concurrence is not required, it has been specifically mentioned. Wherever nothing is mentioned, then it should be presumed that finance concurrence is required. That means positive side. Positive side, you have to think. Okay. So these are the sources for the MSOP, all Indian Railway codes and manuals. This GM's negative powers as per Annexure 2, this is very important examination point. Annexure 2, Chapter 5 and Finance Code, Value 1. And various circulars issued by the various directorates, that is Commercial Directorate, Transformation Cell, Accounts Directorate, and codes and manuals. Here the most important part of this topic is the remembering the parts of the MSOP. So already I told in the at the time of SOP it is the 6 parts. But now with the MSOP, the new part is added, that is the security. Previously it is a part of miscellaneous matters. Miscellaneous matters. So how to remember? This works. A for agreement. All of you know works agreement. Medical, you can remember or you can create your own mnemonic one trick. It is up to you. But otherwise, the biology student studies the medicine. Biology student studies medicine. So, B part B means it is the biology, it is the medical matters. And part C, you can remember C, miscellaneous, chief minister. And it is very easy, stores. Because D for depot. Depot means stores depot. So part D for stores. And part E. E means earnings. Earnings, which department is responsible for earnings? Take care, commercial. So it is the commercial matters. And F for family. So you can remember all establishment matters, whether guested and non-guested. That means leave rules, pass rules, all these things. Our welfare act. The last one, it is very easy to remember. G for guard, security guard. So it is the security matters. That means nothing but RPF. Okay. This is not much important. This annexures of the MSOP. Don't confuse here in the MSOP. The annexure 1 is the GM powers, but this is the very important first. Annexure 2 of the chapter 5. Okay. Now we'll check what is the procedure for the correction of the MSOP at journal level. This is also very, very, very important. What is the procedure? So the respective PHOD shall initiate the proposal for correction. Suppose it is the part B, medical matters. So CMD will propose PCMD, or it is the engineering. Any PHOD can initiate any proposal. Please remember. So this is the examination point, very, very important. Deputy GM G. G means general. Deputy General Manager General is the nodal officer for this MSOP at the zonal railway. He is take care of the corrections and everything. So proposals received from the PHODs, first the DGM G is examined, then processed for the finance concurrence. 1 minute. Yeah. Once finance concurrence is over, then he will prepare one draft correction slip. He will prepare one draft correction slip. What is the exact matter to be modified or included in the MSOP? Then that is also sent to the accounts for vetting. Then he will obtain the personal approval of the GM. Please check, whenever personal is there, only GM has to accord. If personal is not there, then AGM can accord. So here, for any correction slip or corrigendum, any mistakes, the DGMG will issue after obtaining the personal approval of the GM. Okay. If it is a direct delegation, correction can also be issued without consent of the department. The consent department initiative also not required, direct delegation. And not only these corrections can also be issued by the railway board. It is uniform for the all zonal railways. Okay. This is the, please remember, very, very important for examination point, these parts, concurrence, and MSOP is initiated by whom? What is MSOP? Please check the key points also. Tomorrow I am going to cover this MSOP, audit and losses, GFR and promotion policy also tomorrow morning. Please be ready. Okay. So please go through the all the key points. It is nothing but summarized all important points. Okay. Yeah. Manish ji, please unmute.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste, Manish
Sir,
ji.
sir, if a zone is issued any correction slip, this will be applicable to all Indian Railway, sir.
No, only concerned zonal railway.
Different
See,
zone, sir.
yeah, MSOP. Suppose say for example furniture, procurement of furniture, it is a GM powers is the 10 lakhs. It is only imagination, just imagine 10 lakhs. In the furniture for PHOD, it is given 5 lakhs. Suppose it is given by the railway board. But the South Central Railway can initiate, can increase this 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs up to GM powers. That is the SCR GM can take a call. And another GM can reduce this 10 lakhs. Any changes within GM powers, the GM can modify. It is only applicable for the concerned railway only. That is the reason if you check the question papers, the questions they will not ask the details contents in the MSOP because it is changing from railway to railway. By default, the model SOP is the SOP for the general railway, except if the GM will issued any correction slips. Okay. Yeah.
Right, sir. Sir, once explain sir negative power of GM, sir, please.
Yeah, negative power. For example, what is your good name?
Manish Kumar, sir.
Manish, suppose you have a small child is there. Huh?
Yes, sir.
In a
Yes, sir.
house, there are 10 rooms is there. How many
Right, sir.
rooms?
10 rooms.
Room number 1, 2, 3, 4, like that.
Right,
So
sir.
that kid is very small kid. So
Yes,
one
sir.
room, it is having some dangerous equipment, that is electrical equipment, something. Hmm?
Right,
It
sir.
should not be accessed by the children. So
Right.
what is your advice? You advise to child, don't go to the room number 2.
Right, sir.
That is the negative power. Don't go to
Right,
the
sir.
room number 2 means, that means you can go to the room number 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yes,
So
sir.
which is the best one? Is it negative power is best or positive power is best to delegate to your child?
Negative power, sir.
Yeah, it is very easy. See, don't go to the room number 2 and 3. That's all. That means, what is it means? You can go any room except 2 and 3. Okay. If it is a positive side, you have to tell a lot of exercise. You can go to room number 1, you can go to room number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You have to tell. In the meantime, the essence of the advice, it will be lost. Okay. Here, what is importance? Don't do this one. Okay. I think this is the logic only. Whatever you think. What is the exact this one? We don't know. Okay.
Sir, give one example in railway matter, sir.
Pardon? Yeah, I told
In
you the
railway.
cash awards.
Yes,
Cash
sir.
awards, please check. Cash award. So what is it says? Please check. You cannot sanction in excess of 5,000 to the grant of reward in excess of 5,000 in each individual. That is the GM power. What is this? Please check the top. All rules must be taken without previous sanction of the higher authority. So this rule, if you want to pay more than 5,000, we have to take railway board sanction. Okay.
Right, sir.
Yeah. Next, Ramesh ji, please quick.
Sir,
Yeah, resound.
sir, main the difference between discretionary power and delegation power, sir.
Discretionary power.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Delegation and one more thing.
Sir,
Yeah, SSC, KDJ.
कौन करी Picking करिए ना
Yeah, XYZ.
Sir, AGM and deputy GM, different, sir.
Yeah, deputy GM is working under GM. He is a normally J grade officer.
Yes,
He
sir.
is assisting the GM for all works.
Okay, he is the nodal office for MSOP.
Yeah, he is appointed as a nodal officer for MSOP. Not only that work, so many works he will be interested. GM. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Omkar ji, quick.
Sir, please explain concurrence.
Concurrence. See, concurrence means what? Approval. Concurrence means approval. Concurrence means, see, executive is proposed one item. That is as per MSOP, the concurrence is required. That means accounts also will agree. Accounts department also should agree. Then it is the finalized. That is yes, I too agreed. Concurrence means yes, we are proposed, I too agreed. So while giving concurrence, the finance will take care of the all these things, canons of financial propriety, any railway board guidelines, all it will check from the accounts point of view and it will give concurrence. Yeah, please quick. I think it is better we'll discuss at the end of the session. Please check any urgent only. Please unmute.
Sir, can GM reduce the power of DRM which is given in SOP, sir?
Yeah, normally it is not possible. Yes, it may be because it is he is head of the GM, na? But normally
Yes,
it
sir.
is not possible because some powers directly issued by to the DRMs by railway board. I think it is not possible. Okay.
Sir, so in zone, GM can delegate his own power to any subordinate officer. Is this correct or not, sir?
Pardon?
सर जोन में जीएम अपना पावर किसी भी ब्रांच
Yes,
किसी
he
ऑफिसर को
can
डेलीगेट कर सकता है.
He can delegate his powers.
वही है सर, मतलब वो चेंज करने का उनको पावर है तो डेलीगेट कर सकता है सर, यही बात.
Yeah, he can delegate.
Correct.
I told now that correction procedure.
ओके सर, ओके सर.
सर गुड इवनिंग सर, रमेश
हाँ.
बोल रहा हूँ सर. सर वो उसका लास्ट क्वेश्चन का हम लोग को क्लैरिफाई नहीं हो पाया. डेलीगेशन पावर एंड डिस्कशन पावर.
Discretion means?
वही है सर, हम लोग मेन डिफरेंस क्या है सर? डिस्कशनल
Yeah,
पावर.
there is no comparison. First of all, that is different. This is different. Delegation means, see, you are a head of the family. You can delegate one responsibility to your son. That's all. Delegation. Because you cannot exercise all the functions. Some of the powers you are delegated to your subordinates, your children. This one. Yeah, Amberji, Sorenji.
Okay,
Sir, I have a question, sir. In case of direct delegation, correction can also be issued without consent of the department.
Yeah, the corrections directly issued to the. Yes. Yeah, I'll take up all the queries at the end of session. Let me complete another topic also. Please wait. Yeah, participants, please note down your queries. I will address all queries at the end of session, last 15 minutes. Okay. This is a very, very important topic after 2017. Yeah, Subhaji, please note down. We'll discuss everything. Okay. Yeah, please confirm one of the cost.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Very, very important GFR. What is GFR? This is the authority for the central government departments to exercise their powers. General Financial Rules. The first edition started in the 1947, the year of independence. The latest edition is the 2017. It is issued by the Ministry of Finance, Department of Expenditure, Government of India. It is applicable to all the central government departments, please remember, including railways. Previously, we are not taking such a seriousness in the GFR, but Railway Board, see, this letter dated 9/2/2018 advised all concerned to refer rules under GFR and used them as a broad principle, not narrow principle, while making financial decisions. That means at the same time it is a balanced. That means though the what is authority for railways? It is the railway board letters, circulars, directorates, or railway codes and manuals. That is authority for the functioning of the Indian Railways. But here the railway board cautiously issued this letter stating this GFR also you should be observed as the broad principles while making financial decisions. Why? Because I'll tell you in the GFR, please check the rule number 1 clearly mentioned applicable to the all central government ministries including railways. There is no exception. Departments, attached and subordinate bodies, any autonomous bodies, MDO, here the word is very, very important. MDO means ministries, departments and organizations. Normally the central government is used this term MDO whenever in the railway. That means for this, as for rule number 1, our railway also it is included in the 2017. Previous versions we don't know. The previous 1968 and 1947 version we don't know. But 2017 explicitly told this is the must for all the departments. Okay. So this is the authority. Suppose any deviation is there, for example in the GFR, the security deposit is 10%, just imagine. In our GCC for works, it is the security deposit is 5%. Then which one we should follow? Because as per railway letter, we have to use the principle, this GFR as a broad. Then but we have to apply, abide by the GCC for works. Which one is correct? Then in that letter, the issue it is clearly spelled out. Please check. Any substantive deviation from GFR has become a part of reporting through monthly PCDO by respective PFA to member finance. So any such things are observed by the PFA, it is his duty to report to the member finance through monthly PCDO. Then member finance should report to the Ministry of Finance. Then Ministry of Finance decision is the final on the railways. Okay. Because the Department of Expenditure is the very, very powerful department for all the government departments in respect of exercising the powers for the spending the money. Like HR matters, this DOPT is the nodal. Okay, Department of Personnel and Training. That is why it is very, very important. So indeed, railway being part of Government of India, it is important railways refer GFR in discharging financial powers. So this is issued by Ministry of Finance. It is approximately consists 176 pages, 324 rules, 12 chapters. The first GFR it is issued in the 1947. The second it is revised in the 63 and 2005 also. That means it is the fourth and final edition, the present one. Initially it was 47 and 63 revised, 2005 revised. This is the latest one. In the preamble of this GFR, it is stated that merger of budget with the railway budget with the general budget also, it is the one of the reason for revising the GFR in the 2017. Because the merger it is happened in the 2017 and 18. Okay, it is clearly spelled out in the preamble. And here the removal of distinction in the non-plan and plan expenditure. Previously, if you refer, we used to call plan expenditure and non-plan expenditure. It is not there now. It is a capital and revenue. Yeah. And it is the focusing on the outcome budget, outcomes through outcome budget. And it is a reliance on the DBT instead of via middleman or via local government or state government, the central government directly share the this what is called benefits under direct benefit transfer to the concerned persons. And introduction of new sites, e-sites, that is the central public procurement portal, that is nothing but GEM, and a non-tax revenue portal, and increased focus on the public finance management system. This also we'll discuss now. Yeah. So what is the first GFR 47? Last 2017. GFR means General Financial Rules. PFMS, it is the one examination, the question was asked, what is PFMS? It is the Public Finance Management System, like a AIMS for the Railways Accounting Information Management System. Like this is the big software for the Government of India. Right now we are not using, but there may be a possibility the central government may insist railways also to adopt this PFMS in our railway operations. Okay, yeah. Here any substantive deviation between from the our railway code, any substantive deviation from GFR, zonal level, it is the member finance to report to member finance by PFA, and board level it is the member finance report to Ministry of Finance. Here it is the total number of chapters 12, 324. The biggest chapter is the procurement of goods and services, 65 rules. And the smallest is the contract management, tenders and documents, only 4 rules. So this is the please check. This is the introduction, general system of financial management, budget formulation, government accounts. Some of the questions asking under this AFA paper also, budget formulation, who is the responsible for the budget preparation, government accounts, works, procurement of goods. I told you this is the big chapter. Number of rules are 65. Okay, this is the very small contract management, only 4 rules. Inventory management, grants in aid, this is not important for us. Budgeting and accounting of externally aided price, that is also not required for us. Guarantees and miscellaneous topics. Okay, yeah. Now we'll check the important, not covered completely. The first rule is very, very important. It is called GFR 2017, the name of the document, and applicable to all ministries. There is no exception. And MDOs, that means ministries, departments and organizations, and deemed to be applicable to autonomous bodies, except to the extent the bylaws of autonomous body provide for separate financial rules which have been approved by the government. Then it is not applicable. Suppose one autonomous organization, separate bylaws, it is approved by the government, then it is not applicable, this GFR. Otherwise, by default, GFR is applicable to all the organizations. Okay, this is not much important. Definition is given for what is accounts officer, what is departmentalization of union accounts. Okay, yeah. This is very, very important. Departmentalization of union accounts. Previously, this accounts part also, it is taken by the C&AG. But now it is the responsibility of the CGA, Controller General of Accounts. If you check this Indian Audit and Accounts Service, that means previously the C&AG is take care of the accounts as well as audit. 2 departments is there. Now only under departmentalization of union accounts in the 1976, the Transfer of Personnel Act, now it is the job preparation is the Controller General of Accounts, audit is the C&AG. Okay, that is the reason this Indian Civil Account Service was carved out from the Indian Audit and Account Service. This is for taking care of the accounts preparation for all government departments. For railways, we have separate organization is there, IRAS. Now it is a IRMS. So that is the reason this 1st March is declared as the Civil Accounts Day, because on this day it was. Here in the rule 2, it is a clearly mentioned consolidated fund, contingency fund, and controlling officer of the head of the department, all. Yeah. Here, this is a very, very important allocation of business rules 1961 is the very important authority for exercising any power by the railway ministry. Because in the allocation of business rules, it is mentioned for railway ministry what are the powers of the railway ministry. It is mentioned allocation of the business rules. Okay. Yeah. See, allocation of business rules 1961, Ministry of Railways, all matters including those relating to railway revenue and expenditures, railway board has powers, excluding railway inspectorate and railway audit. Here railway audit is not included, it is the excluding. So railway board has no power. Inspectorate means this commissioner of railway safety and audit, it is not included. And non-government railways as provided in the Railways Act 1989 or in the contracts. Parliament questions or matters regarding offences relating to pilferage of railway property, that is also our job. And regulations with respect of safety, maximum and minimum rates and fares. These are the powers given to the railways by the allocation of business rules 1961. Okay. Yeah. Rule 8, it is the government accounting rules 1990. It is prescribed, not important. And central government account rules, that is the receipts and payment 1983. Okay. Yeah. Rule 13 states the suspense, no sums shall be credited as railway by debit to suspense at. The credit must follow, not precede actual realization. Okay. That means credit is coming second, not directly first. Okay. Now this is saved. This is the very important examination point. Frequently asking what is the rule number for the canons of financial propriety. That is rule number 21. Very, very important. Sometimes they may ask paragraph number also. Paragraph, it is the 116 of the Finance Code Volume 1. I told you not DOP, it is mentioned in the rule 23. DOP means delegation of powers or delegation of financial powers, similar to MSOP. Okay. Yeah. Here it is a clearly mentioned rule 23, the financial powers of government which have not been delegated to any subordinate authority, it is a vest with the finance ministry. That means if it is any power, it is not spelled out clearly, then it is the only finance ministry can exercise. Here date of effect also, it is mentioned rule 27. All rules or sanctions shall come into force from the date of issue of the letter, unless any other date from which they shall come into force is specified. So for example, in one order, they mentioned these rules with retrospectively effective from the 1st January. So then 1st January is correct. Otherwise, if it is the letter date is the 6 to 26, only from that letter. From the date only, it is effective by default. Yeah. This rule 29, it is the all sanctions should be communicated to the audit officer as well as accounts officer. So other rules also is there. We'll discuss later. Yeah. Yeah. Any queries, please note down. We'll discuss later. Yeah. Vedananji, please. We'll discuss later at the end of session because the tempo will go up. This is also discussed, very important. It is part of financial rules. Yeah, one of the co-host, please confirm.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. If we check financial rules syllabus, it is a clearly mentioned CGA and C&AG. Both are part of the syllabus. And first of all, why should we learn about CGA, PFMS, ICAS as a REL employee means? Because the answer is, please check. The practices and software of Indian Railway is going to be common with the Union Government of India after merger of railway budget. There is a possibility is there. If you check e-office, it is the central government software. GEM, it is the central government software. So in coming days, the railways portals, that is a IREPS also, we are going to, this IPAS also going to be merged with the central government portals, because to bring a common platform, common uniformity. Yeah. So GFR, it is a relevant to the Indian Railways, just now we discussed. So if you check GEM, yes, it is a common platform. HRMS, it is a common platform. E-office is common platform. It is the universal applications. Okay. So many common digital platforms are also going to be applicable to Indian Railways in coming days, because the measure of budget is the beginning of this step. Okay. So here they included the CGA as the part of syllabus. What is CGA? See, C&AG is the highest officer on the audit side. CGA is on the account side, is the principal advisor of the to the government of India on accounting matters. CGA. Yeah, now we'll replace with the latest one. This is very, very important. Principal advisor to the Union Government on accounting matters, CGA. Don't confuse. C&AG is the auditor, Controller and Auditor General. This is CGA, Controller General of Accounts. Is under Ministry of Finance. He is the responsible for the preparation and submission of the accounts of Union Government, and he is the responsible for the exchequer control and internal audit, where C&AG belongs to Indian Audit and Account Service. Though this accounts is separated, the service name is not changed, but this CGA belongs to ICAS. I told you in 1976 March 1st this service is started. So that's why they celebrated March 1st as the Civil Accounts Day, Indian Civil Account Service. This is Indian Civil Account Service. It is a carved out from the IAS, Indian Audit and Account Service, in the 1976 March 1st. So March 1st is the Civil Accounts Day. This is why it is important. This is the transfer of financial transactions. In the 1976, before, the C&AG is responsible for both preparation of accounts as well as audit, two separate departments. Now the responsibility is taken over by the CGA from the C&AG. So it is working under the Department of Expenditure, Ministry of Finance, and the training institute name is the National Institute of Financial Management, Faridabad, and INGF, Institute of Government Accounts and Finance, Chennai. Both training centers in the ICAS offices. Yeah, just a minute. Yeah, these are the key takeaways. Please check. Now this is the very important PFMS. Last time one question was asked. This was the online online software application. It is developed and implemented by CGA. Okay, yeah, just that is sufficient, and it is a interface with the National Payments Corporation of India. Okay, yeah. It is an interface with the treasury systems of the all states and union territories with legislatures and integrated with all the banks in the country. Okay, yeah. GFR, it is already discussed. This is sufficient. Now we'll discuss a small chapter, that is the losses, frauds. Yeah, Lakshmi ji, any urgent only, please raise the hand. Very urgent queries. Normal queries we can address at the end of the session. Okay. Yeah. Please confirm one of the cost.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So this is the one question. There is a possibility is there. It is the part of financial rule syllabus. This is the Finance Code Chapter 11. Losses, frauds and embezzlements. If it all happens in the railways, what is the action to be taken? How to dealt? How to dealt? It is the nothing but defalcation of the or loss of cash, stores or any other railway property. What is the cardinal principle or canons of financial propriety? That every government servant should exercise the same vigilance in respect of incurred from public money. How to compare? As a person of ordinary prudence would exercise in respect of expenditure of his own money applied. So whatever caution, whatever care, whatever steps he has taken for caring of his personal money, the government employee is supposed to exercise the same care as an ordinary person, ordinary prudence person would exercise in respect of public money. Okay, that is the very important canons of financial propriety applied here. So every railway servant is personally responsible for any loss sustained by the government through fraud or negligence on his or her part. If it is the part of him or her, then he is the responsible personally. Or also for any loss arising from the fraud or negligence on the part of any other railway servant, not only on his part, to the extent it may be shown that he or she contributed to the loss by his or her own action or negligence. Because of your negligence, if other person also committed loss or fraud, you are also responsible. That means here it is a direct responsibility, here indirect responsibility. Okay, so what is the action should take? See, this misappropriation or defalcation of loss of cash, stores or other property, on discovery we should report immediately to the DRM or PHOD. Immediately we report to the, in case of division it is a DRM, overall it is a department side, it is a PHOD. In case of serious case, it is not mentioned what is serious case, but in case of serious case, gravity is more, it is a directly reported to GM. Okay. In such case, the reports are being sent simultaneously to the PFA and who will forward a copy to the Principal Director of Audit or Director General of Audit. Now this Principal Director of Audit post is upgraded in some railways as Director General of Audit. Okay, yeah. But petty cases, that is not exceeding 10,000, not reported to PFA, not required. That means above 10,000 only the cases should be reported to PFA, then from PFA to PDA. Okay, but if it is the loss involves more than 50,000, then we should report to railway board. I think it is because of inflation content, these figures need to be increased upward, because nowadays 50,000 very small. Yeah. And in such case, GM should send a preliminary report followed by detailed report. Immediately we should send a preliminary report within 6 weeks, and also a copy to PDA through PFA. So that means you have to remember 10,000 below it is a petty case, only DRM and PHOD is sufficient. Above 10,000 it is to PFA, and from PFA to audit, and above 50,000 it should be go to railway board. Okay, yeah. And when sending detailed report to the railway board, it should be accompanied by the police report, copy of the proceedings of departmental inquiry committee, and comments of the railway administration. All points brought out by the departmental inquiry committee. What is our remarks on departmental inquiry committee? And prosecution of the offenders in case of loss involving a reasonable suspicion of the fraud or criminal offense, then we have to seek the opinion of the legal branch, and then we can prosecute the offenders. And the amount to be recovered from railway servants, it is the limited to railway servants' capacity to pay. Please remember, for example, it is the 1 lakh, the salary itself is the 50,000. So it should be limited to the salary. Yeah. Pension once sanctioned cannot be reduced or withdrawal for misconduct or committed prior to the retirement. This is very important. That is the reason at the time of pension order, we have to take care all the points, any cases is there or not. Because once sanctioned, you cannot reduce. So hence ensure that railway servant concerned in any loss or irregularity which is subject to the inquiry is not inadvertently allowed to retire while inquiry is in the progress. We should not allow to retire. So any corruption or malpractices, we have to refer to vigilance officer, and refer to SP. SP means Special Police Establishment Act. This is nothing but CBI, Central Bureau of Investigation. Allegations of bribery, corruption, forgery, cheating, criminal breach of trust, falsification of records, or other serious criminal offences requiring expert police investigation, such as possession of the disproportionate assets, that is also, or a case where non-official witnesses are to be examined, then that is the important. Okay. Once case is referred to SP, SP means Special Police Establishment Act, that is a CBI for investigation. A parallel investigation by the railway should be avoided, not required. Okay. This is the small topic. Here especially figures are important. That means immediately we should refer DRM or PHOD. If it is a serious, GM. And more than 10,000, we should report to PFA, and from PFA to PDA. More than 50,000, we should refer to the railway board by the GM. What is SPE stands for? Special Police Establishment Act. CBA, yes. CBA is nothing but another name of the. This is established under Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1946, the CBA. I will discuss last topic, then I will allow the queries. Okay. 1 minute. Yeah, please wait. Now we discuss this audit, very, very important topic. Yeah, please confirm.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. This is very important because we usually confuse what is internal check, internal audit. Okay, external audit is nothing but C&AG audit. External audit is nothing but C&AG audit. That is the outside of the railways, because audit department is not part of railway ministry. But here both are the our inside our railways. This is internal check and internal audit. All of you know internal check, it is the basic function of the accounts department at the time of exercising the or passing the bills. Any bill is received, it is subject to the internal check. Then what is internal audit? Okay, we'll check one by one. Yeah. Internal check, it is nothing but check of day-to-day transactions. What is day-to-day transactions? Every day we are receiving bills, stores bills, contractors bills, or salary bills, or pension bills. Yeah. 1 minute. So it is nothing but internal check means it is the day-to-day transactions when work of one person is proved independently or complementary to the work of another. Generally, this is the accounts clerk or JA do some work, it is inspected by the SO, then it is by officer, like this. But internal audit is not like that. It is the selected few topics, not it is a day-to-day work, and checking all aspects to ensure that the system is correct or not. For example, they are taking the passing of the PF bill. What are the stages involved? Now it is anyway computerized, and whether they are complete the policies issued by the railway, and any possibility of the fraud, we have to prevention. All these things they are taking care of the internal audit. That means it is not day-to-day work. Okay. See, this is nothing but auditing. Normally, audit is done by the external audit, that is C&AG, constitutional body. Here it is done by the railways itself, internal audit. So, internal check, it is the check done by the same section staff. But internal audit, it is not like that. It is the other section. One internal audit section is checking the section. Review activities carried out by persons totally independent of the internal check personnel. Okay. This is the frequency. Yeah, Avinashji, please wait. Frequency either daily or regular, but here periodic basis. Here it is the part of the system, this internal check, but it is not part of the system. It is a latter we are advised to. So what is the object? Early detection of the fraud. Suppose one bill is received with forged signature or forged amount, we can check. This is the, in the internal check we can check that such mistakes, such frauds, early detection or fraud or prevention of fraud at the time of passing the bills. So we should ensure, yes, bill should be received in correct or not, in duplicate. It is properly signed by the person competent to do behalf of the supplier or contractor. What are the other instructions complied or not, whether material received or not, whether work is executed as per the MB or not. This is all check. Here the object is system improvement. Suppose one bill passing, it takes some 4 hours, one bill pass. So what are the steps it is involved? Any unnecessary steps are there? Can you reduce this 4 hours to the 2 hours? Or can any simplification of the system? This is all taking the here. This is the object of internal audit. system improvement, ensure compliance, and service to the management and compliance of the policy. Here we will check every aspect, but here it is not like only few selected topics. The railway administration is interested to internal audit, sir, some topics. The topics they will cover everything. Okay, yeah. Here the object is narrow object by only a particular bill, but here entire broad object, not here particular bill. The process of the particular kind of bills. So here what is the basis? Basis is a transaction or bill or event. But here it is a system as a whole. System as a whole. Yeah. Please wait. Yeah, please confirm.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Yeah. This is the audit PPT. C&AGI. What is C&AG? Comptroller and Auditor General of India is the final supreme audit authority. What is this article appointment is the article 148 and 149 to 151 is the duties of the C&AG. This is a very important. So it is the constitutional body. It is the constitutional function. Audit of not only union accounts, it is the states and union territories also. The C&AG of India, that is Comptroller and Auditor General of India. His functions derived from the article 149 to 151, very, very important for examination point of view. Sometimes they mention 148 to 151 or 149 to 115. Both are correct because 148 it is related to the appointment of the C&AG. Functions these three articles. And it is the duties also defined by the Act, that is the DPC delegation. I think I'll check DPC. This is the 1971. Okay, yeah. See, the format of the accounts also it is decided by the C&AG in which format the account should be prepared, but with the approval of the President. Okay, yeah. What are the duties? To audit all expenditure of the Consolidated Fund of India and whether the disbursements were legally available or not, and also the transactions of the contingency fund and public account also, and audit of all manufacturing P&L account, balance sheet of the subsidiary accounts, that means all companies, assist PSC in the scrutiny of the appropriation accounts. That's why it is called as the friend, philosopher and guide to the PSC. The C&AG is called as friend, philosopher and guide to the PSC because at the time of appropriation accounts, it is assisted the public accounts committee. Okay. Here this is we'll discuss in another write-up. This is the purpose and object of audit. This is the threefold. That is the accountancy, appropriation and administrative We'll discuss in the other write-up. So what is the safeguard available for the independence and freedom of C&AG? All of you know the C&AG pays allowances and pension. It is the not subject to the vote of parliament. It is the met from the charged expenditure sanctioned by the President of India. In recent railway board letter, they mentioned this deputy C&AG pay and allowances also under charged expenditure in the letter. So please careful. So in the article 148 clearly says C&AG shall be appointed by the president under his hand seal and shall only be removed from the office in the like manner and like ground as a judge of the Supreme Court. That is equaling to the judge of Supreme Court in case of removal. And he is not eligible for the appointment of any other office of profit under Government of India. The salary and conditions, it is the not varied to the is disadvantage after appointment. That means after appointment the government has not changed any conditions of his service or age of retirement or leave, pension, anything. Okay. Yeah. And administrative expenses of his office only, not other staff. It is only shall be charged. That is charged expenditure. But don't confuse charged expenditure and contingency fund. Both are not interrelated. It is the charged expenditure or voted expenditure. It is a met from the consolidated fund of India only. Because it is a big misconception. The charged expenditure is met from contingency and voted expenditure is from consolidated. Not correct. Both from consolidated fund of India. Okay. As far as railways, it is the C&AG's relieved responsibility of complying accounts in the railway departments 1929. Please check, this is very important. In case of other departments, it is the 1976. Till 1976, the C&AG is prepared the accounts of all departments except railway, because we are relieved our responsibility of C&AG in the 1929 itself. 1929 itself, that is separation of railway accounts and audit in the year 1929. Okay, yeah. So that is the reason in the 1924 it was IRS was started 1923. Okay. The form in which accounts the railway should be kept and changes, it is all must be approval of the C&AG subject to the president approval. And who is responsible for railways? It is the deputy C&AG. Now in the code book it is the additional deputy C&AG. Now the post was upgraded. Now it is the deputy C&AG. He is responsible for the scrutinizing the railway proportion of the finance accounts, including annual review, everything. Okay. Yeah. Here if we check C&AG and deputy C&AG in the journal, previously principal director of audit is there. Now it was upgraded in some railways, director general audit. Director general audit and deputy director, senior auditor, these are also there. Yeah. This cost of railway audit is borne by the railway revenues miscellaneous expenditure, that is the demand number 2. And it is also called extra railway transactions. Extra railway transaction, because it is not part of railway ministry, but for convenience purpose, the audit department salaries are passed by the railways duly projected funds under demand number 2. Okay. So audit duty is the ex post facto, whereas account job is concurrent, that is internal check. But audit, when it will be checked after complete the payments, so it is the post facto sanction. Yeah, this is not important. Yeah, this is very important. Communication from the audit. So this is also called audit communications or audit objections. Okay. So the first one is the audit note or audit inspection report. But Still examinations is asking audit note part 1 and part 2. And audit inspection report also part 1 and part 2. But for audit point of view, that bifurcation is not there. But still examination they are asking. But anyway, we'll check. Part 2, it is the minor. And it can be closed by the accounts office itself. And part 1 is the major. So it should be closed by the only audit office. So what is audit notes? It is the discovered irregularities discovered in the course of audit of accounts office records. So what is the difference between audit notes and the inspection report? Inspection report is the records of executive office. Audit note is the audit of accounts office records. That is the main difference. Both are similar. Audit note means it is the discovered in the course of accounts office record. Inspection report, that is usually called AIR, audit inspection report. So it is the initial records, because initial records are only available in the executive office or railway stations. And when it is the more important or serious irregularities, directly they can issue special letter. Here it is the 30 days, the reply, audit note or audit inspection report. Whereas special letters, it is the 60 days. 60 days. Sometimes this inspection report also may be converted as the special letter. The audit note also may be converted as special letter, or they can issue directly. Irregularities discovered in the audit of accounts or departmental office or station records. They are collectively called as audit objections. Collectively called as audit objections. Then what is the draft para, provisional para? Now we'll check. So this is the reply. Audit notes, it is the replied by accounts immediately. Audit inspection report, it is the 30 days time is there. If it is a rejoinder, any remarks, it is called for, we have to give within 7 days. Rejoinder, any further remarks. Okay. So all replies of the executive should be routed through accounts only. That's why sometimes bipartite meeting, that is the only accounts and audit. Sometimes tripartite meeting will be held to resolve the issues, that is with the executive, accounts and audit. Okay. Yeah. So what is the problem if not attended properly? The audit will calculate the lost man hours on that account, and they will escalate from audit note to the serious special report. This is very, very important. So what is draft para? Once the special letter or specific report is not resolved at the railway level, then the audit department is decided to include this as one of the paragraphs in the audit report. This audit report is presented to the Parliament through Public Accounts Committee. Very serious consequences are there once it is included in the part. So railway administration trying it level best to resolve the issues. But even then, if it is not resolved, then railway is giving by C&AG one more chance. That means we are ready to include this as one paragraph in the audit report. But however, the PDA is giving one more chance to the GM with 6 weeks reply. 6 weeks reply, that is called draft paragraph, or shortly called draft para. All important cases noticed in the audit which merit inclusion in the report of C&AG. That means they are decided to include in the audit report. But again brought noticed one more chance to the issue to the PHOD and PFA by the PDA of railways. So this is the first stage of the presenting audit PU point for inclusion in the audit report as audit para. So railway should avail this full opportunity to present its case and clear this draft para level itself, not escalating the provisional para and thereby not escalating to the audit para. In spite of that, if the audit is not satisfied, then the railway board level, the deputy C&AG issued provisional para to the CRB. Provisional para to the CRB. This is 2 weeks time. Okay. And if that is also not possible to resolve, then there is no question. It becomes audit para. And finding one number of paragraph in the audit report. That means first DP, then PP, then AP. Audit para. So this is the draft para. It is sending to GM 6 weeks time. Here in the question paper, it is asking, it is the mentioning the draft para to be replied by GM personally, but that is not correct. In practical, there is no such thing. Only you should give approval for a reply. There is no such one. Okay. This is not much important. Annexures. Yeah, we'll discuss last small topic. Please wait. Yeah, please wait. Please wait. I will address all the aspects. Yeah. Please confirm. Yeah, please confirm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. This is very, very important examination point. This is called threefold object of statutory audit. What is threefold? It is the para 16 of chapter 1 of finance code. Yeah. See, broadly, if you check accountancy audit, appropriation audit, and administrative audit. Simple accountancy audit means whether the vouchers enclosed correct or not, broadly. Because every bill received, it is supported by some vouchers. That is the receipt of material or something. That supported vouchers and arithmetical calculation, that bill part, it is entirely checked. That is called accountancy audit. So audit will check on this aspect. Suppose they are checking one bill. So the bill calculations, the supported vouchers, the authority, everything it is there. In the appropriation audit, they will check whether classification of the expenditure is correct or not. Suppose it is the repairs to the plant and equipment. So it is supposed to classified under demand number 7. Instead of that, if it is a classified under demand number 4, they will point out. So this is the appropriation accounts. Please remember appropriation accounts and appropriations, these classifications. And on part of administrative audit, they will check this vouchers is correct, classification is correct, but sanction of the competent authority as per MSOP, the concerned officer sanction is available or not. Or it is a bill, it is generated as per the rules in force or not. All these checks under administrative audit. So audit department, while inspecting any audit, they are observed these 3 points: accountancy audit, appropriation audit, administrative audit. See, accountancy audit, that is arithmetical calculations, payments are supported by the receipts or vouchers. What is the objective? This is the detection of the fraud or detection of the technical errors and detection of the errors in the principle. It assesses the adequacy of the accounting system and system of the internal check. It is properly or there or not. It is the accountancy audit. In the appropriation audit, already I told this is the classification of expenditure, whether the correct classification is there or not. Also, whether budget is available, voted appropriation is not exceeded, and it is nothing but part of parliamentary control over railway finances, this appropriation audit. And administrative audit is nothing but audit of sanctions and check that expenditure has been incurred according to prescribed rules or regulations, and if not, it has been sanctioned by the competent authority. Okay. Yeah, please raise the hand. Any queries? It is lost. Yes, Sahani ji.
Sir, you have just told that in case of GFR, if SD amount is to be recovered at the value of 10%, and as per Indian Railway GCC, SD amount is 5%, then what would be our side? Either we will go
Yeah.
for GFR or Indian Railway GCC